Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Cropper here. Regiomontanus is a fascinating figure. Regiomontanus, wow, that's a name fitting of a superhero. Regiomontanus was, of course, just the Latin name of a gentleman named Johannes Muller, who was a contemporary of Nicholas Copernicus' father. Got that? Nicholas Copernicus, we know him. 1473 to 1543. His father was a friend of Regiomontanus, otherwise known as Johannes Muller. Regiomontanus was a German mathematician. He was born in Königsberg in Bavaria in 1436. Okay? He gave himself that Latin name. He was, get this, assassinated, well, let's see, 1476. What's the epitome of violence in Europe in the 1400s? The church, you say? Well, that would be Rome. Yes, well, he was assassinated in Rome. He was invited by the Pope to fix the calendar. The Pope needed the calendar revised a bit. He came to Rome and was assassinated. Well, what else about Regiomontanus is important? He was a Renaissance man. He went to college at the age of 11, started at Leipzig University, and he compiled an astronomical yearbook at that age. It still exists, it's in his childish handwriting. He then became the astrologer to the Emperor Frederick III at the age of 15. Now Regiomontanus and a gentleman named Purbach, P-U-R-B-A-C-H, developed better methods for deducting the time from the position of the stars. And their tables of measurements were then used to check the accuracy of clocks later on. Well, Regiomontanus' stuff says that this star should come above the horizon at this time, and our clock means that that's 3 hours. Oh, the clock's 20 minutes off. They analyzed the Almagest, Purbach and Regiomontanus. The Almagest was Ptolemy's great book, treatise on astronomy. Regiomontanus was among the first in all of Europe to study the Greek mathematicians. It's fine to study the Roman mathematicians, if there were any. And the fact is that Europe discovered Rome. Europe fetishized Rome, but didn't really get into Greece until later on. They started out, of course, with Aristotle. That's what opened the Renaissance to begin with, was Aristotle. But then the fascination with Rome totally blew apart the dictatorship of the Pope. Later on, the original Greek writings were gotten into. And this is in the 1400s when Regiomontanus gets into the Greek mathematicians. Later on, he makes some astronomical tables and some globes. And these globes were used by Diaz, Columbus, and Vasco da Gama. All three of them used Regiomontanus' globes and astronomical tables. Regiomontanus, quite a popular guy, quite an important guy. Well, why did the Pope assassinate him? Holy moly, why did the Pope invite him there to have him assassinated? It turns out to be that Regiomontanus had been conniving, planning, plotting to assassinate the Pope. They wanted to kill the Pope. They thought that would bring down the dictatorship of the Pope. All the Catholics across the world would allow the folding of the Catholic Church. The death of Christianity would therefore happen, Regiomontanus thought, and then they would revive the Roman Republic from Rome proper, from Rome itself. He said, we'll kill the Pope and take over the government and re-blossom the Roman Republic, starting in its original root place. There's seldom been a more romantic, vision. But that's why they killed him. The thing to kill the Pope failed, and then he had to flee. He went to Poland. He got to know this guy, who knew this guy, who turned out to be the father of Nicholas Copernicus. Now, I told the kids this story at length today as a beginning of a detailed spiel on Copernicus and Kepler and Newton. And it's good stuff, isn't it? Good stuff. Appreciate your donations. Still operating a private school, and anything you can do to help with tuition is fine.